You can stay muted forever. Hello. Hello. Oh, you're muted.
Hi.
Oh, now we can hear you.
I'm so happy to see your face.
How are you?
I'm great. Emily, thanks for connecting me and Mary Frances to do
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
What a great
Caroline is so sad she couldn't join. She's driving home today. And she was like, maybe if I get to the Airbnb in time, like if I can go to a grocery store, I'll join from Truckee. It was like, I don't think that's going to work.
That sounds hard.
Yeah, no, it was like, I don't know what that Airbnb is going to have. That just sounds exhausting.
Cooking class is supposed to be fun, Caroline. How was y'all's visit? How was Denver?
It was good. We got along. We survived another 2 weeks together. So that's always good.
You're incredible. Honestly, your sister power over this quarantine.
This is a new phase for us.
It really is.
I don't know if I told you, we used to not be the best of friends.
Yeah. My sister and I kind of had the same thing. Caroline and I have talked about this. I think just different life phases really change things. And now my sister and I are both moms at the same time, and like our friendship is completely different.
That's awesome. How are you feeling? How is everything?
I'm feeling great. I'm
feeling
pregnant by the 2nd, but that's true, so that's okay. What else? I'm busy. I'm doing like 3 or 4 of these classes a week. They're like
so awesome.
I know. They're really great and fun, and like I used to work in restaurants and work in catering, and what I really miss about food is like actually cooking for people and like talking about it, and like, you know, people being like, could you set this for that, and you know, that kind of thing. And all of a sudden I like get to do it from the comfort of my own home and like not have to cater a whole event. Like somebody in Monterey just asked me if I would do an in-person cooking class, and I was like, no.
I need to be in my own kitchen.
Yeah, it's a complete, like, I want you to clean up yours, you clean up mine. Hello, everybody who's joining. Welcome to cooking class. I'm Caroline, and I am your instructor and chef for today, and I'm so glad that you're all here. And Mary is not here yet. Mary, wait, Mary, right? Mary Frances?
Yeah, I'm here.
Wait, but Schlopy is Mary, right? Or did I just make that up?
No, it's Marnie Schlopy, yeah.
Thank you. Schlopy.
Yeah, she's not here yet, yes. She will be on right at 4.
George told me that, my husband told me that my opening joke should be that I wanted to make sloppy joes. And I said, I'll leave that one off. Then I just said it. So here I am. Here I am. Shauna and Patty, if you guys want to share your videos, that'll help me like check in on you while you're cooking. But if you don't, that's also totally fine. Looks little video button. It should have a red slash through it, and if you just click it again, it'll allow you to be seen if you're up for it. Hi, Shauna. Oh, hi, Shauna and Patty. Great. I had a little internet glitch, I think, there. But Patty, are you in San Francisco? You look like you're floating on
Actually, I'm viewing on my way to Park City in the car, so I'm going to observe.
That's awesome. A lot of people come and just observe.
So thank you.
Later, and that's great. Are you driving from San Francisco to Park City?
No, Michigan. So I thought that kind of looked like Michigan.
Oh my gosh, you're driving from Michigan.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
So I didn't want to miss out. So thank you for letting me join this way.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you. Mary Frances, how many are we expecting?
I think we're expecting like 10 or 15.
Great.
Yep. How long is that drive, Patty?
2 full long days.
Oh, wow.
1,600 miles. I think it's around 1,600 miles.
Wow. Well,
but it's worth it.
To change drivers with.
Yeah,
At least you have a chauffeur. I always
Yeah,
have a
I
chauffeur who
do.
drives
I
too.
do. This is good.
It is nice.
One perk of being a bad driver is that my husband drives me everywhere. So I could also take a cooking class from my car if I wanted to.
Grabbed everything.
All right, it's 3 o'clock. We've got Jill and Patty and Shauna and Mary Frances. Is that all we have so far? Oh yeah, that's all we are still. So we'll
Yeah.
wait. We'll wait on the slow pokes a little longer.
How's the weather in California?
It is incredible, frankly. It looks pretty beautiful where you are too.
Well, right now it is. Earlier it was raining. It's kind of cold. Yesterday was 39 in the morning. Yeah.
Ooh.
Chilly.
It's kind of nice though, as long as it warms up by the afternoon. Like those chilly mornings are sort of like cozy. Unless you're like pulling it up and
It's
something.
a good excuse to not feel guilty.
I know.
For not being productive outside, yeah.
Yeah. I'm up in Carmel Valley, California, so like 20 minutes up into the mountains from Carmel by the sea. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. And Carmel in the summertime gets like that marine layer fog that San Francisco and the whole coast of California get in the summertime. And we don't get that at all, but we get much hotter temperatures. But not too bad. But we've had a couple of days of like brutal 95-degree heat. But other than a couple, it's been just like 70s, 80s, really lovely.
That's nice. Hi, Lana.
Hi, Lena. Are you going to cook with us? Oh, she's on mute. You look like you're also at a beautiful hot air balloon rally.
Yes, that was several years ago, but it
That's
was
a
so much fun.
picture. Cool. Are you going to cook with us, Lena? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, yes,
Oh, good.
at least try.
I couldn't tell because the hot air balloon rally is in the background, not your kitchen, but that's great. If you want to make the background the neutral or like the real one, then I can check in on you while we're cooking. But do your thing. If you want to keep that, that's fine too. All right, well, we'll wait for Marnie. You think,
Yep.
Mary Frances?
Yeah, she just texted me. She will be on here shortly.
Perfect.
Oh.
The backgrounds are awesome.
I know, so many good ones. Catherine, welcome,
Okay.
Catherine.
Hi, I'm Kristen. Can you hear me?
Hi, Kristen, welcome. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I can't figure out how to see you though, because all I see is I see a black screen with, I'm driving, but I'm almost home, so I can do it from my computer then, but, okay, there. Are you the
Probably
teacher?
because I was talking from I have a double camera situation, so I was talking from my muted camera. So sorry about
Got it. Okay. No, that's okay, because I just couldn't see anybody, so thank you.
Are you gonna
Okay,
are you gonna get home and start cooking with us?
yes, I have bought all the ingredients. I just need to get home. I was trying to get home by 4, but I didn't make it, so I'm
It
on my
happens.
way.
We're just lucky I made it home in time.
Oh, good. So fun. This is
That's
fun.
perfect.
Thank you for doing this.
We're gonna get started with our dessert and then we'll move to dinner. So you can just make your dessert second.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Caroline, 1 second. Let me call Marnie really quick.
Perfect. We're just waiting on Marnie. She's going to join us and just say hello and touch base, since I'm sure many of you haven't seen each other in a long time. And then we will get started. And we're going to get started with our dessert, like I was just telling Kristen. So if you want to go ahead and like get your blender out, get your chips, your coffee, we can go ahead and heat up our coffee, your vanilla extract, and your eggs. That's what you can go ahead and kind of place in front of you, because that's up first.
4 eggs, please, from the refrigerator outside.
Was somebody talking to me?
No, sorry, talking to my sous chef, my son.
Oh, good. Do you have a buddy?
That I'm making do this.
Listen, man, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna learn a new skill.
Exactly.
Be able to make poke creme. That's a really fancy dessert. Now you know how to make it.
Outside for them.
You gotta listen to your mom every now and then. Lana, if you're talking to us, you're on mute. You're talking to somebody else.
Okay.
Okay.
What if I don't have a blender? Can I hand whip it?
If you don't have a blender, you're gonna melt the coffee in a pot, warm it up in a pot, and then you're gonna melt in your chocolate chips over like low heat so that you don't scorch them.
Okay.
That way, and then you'll turn off the heat, and you'll slowly whisk in your eggs once the chocolate has cooled down a bit.
So Caroline, Marnie is on now.
Hi, Marnie. Welcome, Marnie. You're muted, so just unmute yourself, and I'm going to spotlight you to just say hello.
Okay. Hello. Sorry, technical difficulties, and I was off, so I had to come back and change. So,
they happen.
thank you all for joining. Really, everybody's face virtually. And I just wanted to let you know we're being recorded so that you can go back on and see this again or send it to your friends. And so Mary Frances is. I also want to thank Caroline for donating part of her income from this to a charity, which we chose a local charity. Her name is Mare. She rebuilds bikes for kids that can't afford bikes. So she takes bike parks. And if anyone wants more information, let me know. So let's.
Oh, that is so.
Jill, let me have more information.
Yes,
Thank you.
I can send you more information.
Jill, or Marnie, you can even write it in the chat here so that you don't have to read it if you want to.
Great, I will do that.
If you can all see that chat box. If you can't see the chat box, pull up view and then show chat box, and then you guys can message me any questions.
Okay.
That is unbelievably cool, and I'm so happy to be supporting that organization with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and Caroline, thank you for doing this for us. Just a little background on her. So she's a recipe developer, food writer, and an author of a cookbook. How long ago did your cookbook come out, Caroline?
It came out in October 2018, so like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. And during quarantine, she was trying to think of a different way to get people together and do cooking classes. So this is how we have all of us put together. And then Caroline, I guess you can take over now.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna spotlight myself. Oh, am I? All right, here we go. Okay. So let me just pull up the chat screen and we'll talk about how class is gonna go. Hi, everybody. I am so happy to be with y'all today. Like she was saying, these digital cooking classes are kind of a new thing for all of us. Who would have thunk that a digital cooking class would be a thing, would be fun? There goes my husband and son. But they're a blast. So if you've been on a lot of Zoom, like work calls over the past 3 months, like I have, forget all of that. Forget that you've ever hated Zoom before. We are here to have fun, and it's going to be awesome. And we're going to cook together, and it's totally interactive. So what I really like to do is leave you guys off mute so you can like be in the background and you're cooking and you're like, Caroline, when do I add that? Or, you know, whatever, like shout it out as if you were in a real cooking class. But every now and then people's husbands come in and children wake up for their naps or whatever happens, and I just have to press mute all. So if I mute you, I still want you talking. I just muted everyone because there was too much background noise. But just unmute yourself, shout out your question. If you're uncomfortable, you can always type your question in the chat box. Whatever you want to do, let's get started. Like I said, we're going to work on a dessert first. So I'm going to pull you over on my stretchy arm here. My dessert item. We'll do that. Yes, I am extremely pregnant, so that is not. Okay, so we're making pot au crème. Pot au crème is a really kind of fancy schmancy dessert that involves like simmering over a double boiler and all these really kind of complex, annoying. You like bake it in the oven with a water bath in there. But I came up with this hack for my cookbook that allows you to do it really quickly and easily. And it uses a blender. If you don't have a blender, let me know if you didn't hear those instructions that I just gave Lana, I think it was, whoever I just gave instructions. But the rest of us are gonna do it this way. So 8 ounces, that's a cup and a half of semi-sweet chocolate or dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is fabulous in here. Into your blender, and then 4 large eggs. And before even anyone asks, yes, you can. You guys are gonna be like, the eggs don't seem like they're cooked. Are you sure we can eat this? Yes, in the US, all eggs are pasteurized, and the hot coffee that we're about to pour into here, like cooks this enough that it's completely safe to eat. So,
Carolyn?
yes.
And I'm sorry, I'm an ex-accountant, so I follow the rules exactly. It said 1 1/4 in your recipe.
Good, that's funny. So it's anywhere from 1 1/4 to 1 1/2.
Okay.
Calling that out. I just measured it and it was 1 1/2. So
Perfect.
it's not, that part isn't, I mean, measurements are very important in baking. Yeah, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Thank you, that's cool. I didn't realize I had that written, so I just measured it using my scale right before this, and it was 1 1/2. So I think chocolate's probably way different things, yada yada. Okay, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. If you love almond extract like I do, you can use like a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. So 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla, a 1/2 teaspoon of almond. But do your thing. I like for these to be really flavorful, so that's why they have a full 2 teaspoons of vanilla in them. And then I do love almond, so I'm gonna add some of that into mine. If you love like a minty dessert, you could add, I think I would only do a 1/4 teaspoon of peppermint extract because it's so strong. But after you blend everything up with the coffee, with the extract, you would just take a little taste and see, okay, do I want it more pepperminty? Do I want it? At that point, you can't go less pepperminty. So start with a 1/4 teaspoon and go from there. Somebody did one of my classes a couple weeks ago and absolutely loved it, and I still haven't gotten to try it. All right, and then let's just add a pinch. So like a pinch to me is like 1/8 of a teaspoon less because it's like unmeasurable. So a little bit less of kosher salt, and let's blend that up. So just kind of shake it around so that your eggs have some, so that they'll all blend together. Fry until it's completely smooth. All right, we want this to be pretty well combined. You'll see at this point, it's almost like a really thick chocolatey, I don't know, a really thick chocolate milk or something at this point. But we need to add our very hot coffee. So if your coffee's not already hot, throw it in the microwave for 1 minute. I need to do it. of that coffee is what makes the eggs set and turn this into a thick, like almost ganache-like so it's really, really important that your coffee is like so hot that you would never drink it at that temperature. It's hot, 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 okay? So if your microwave after a minute isn't hot, like stick your finger in it, and if it's like, ow, then it's good. I know that's a very scary way to test how hot your coffee is. But yeah, like stick your finger in it. Yes.
Didn't you say you can use, because I know a couple people here are allergic or don't drink coffee. You can substitute, what was it?
Coconut milk.
Coconut milk.
Yeah, did anybody get that?
Yeah, go get that, Kristen.
Thank you. I was just going to put hot water in and just see what that turned out. But I have coconut milk.
Hot water could work, but coconut milk will give you a lot more flavor. I thought that you would be able to use heavy cream for this, and I tested it, and it just didn't set as well, so it added too much dairy and didn't set. But coconut milk has been successfully tried by vegans who don't like coffee during my classes, and they loved it. So do that. All right, my coffee is piping hot, so I'm gonna pour it in 2/3 cup of really hot coffee into the blender, and kind of try to pour it down the sides, so if any coffee is splashed up during that last step, it all gets melted down the sides. And then we're gonna blend this for like 15 seconds to make sure everything's melted. Perfect. When yours is completely smooth and starting to look like a chocolate pudding, that is when you're ready. So I'm using these little pins that I love. I think they're from Williams Sonoma. They're just like, the basic little ice cream parlor bowl. And I love using these for pot de creme. You could use tiny little jars if you have them. You could use a bigger bowl if you want. Do it that way. If you want to serve this like restaurant style, which is kind of fun, you could just serve it all in one big bowl, kind of like this, and everybody dives in with one spoon. You like throw the whipped cream in the middle, throw some chocolate shavings on top, and everybody dives in with a spoon, like as if you're sharing a dessert at a restaurant. But I'm gonna grab a plate to. What am I gonna grab? Yeah. You just want to grab something so that you can transport them all easily to the fridge, but I can't find anything actually. I'm just going to do it one at a time. The reason we're doing this first, before we cook our dinner, is that these take like an hour to set, so they should be ready by the time we finish cooking, you finish eating, and.
Why is yours a lot more fluffy than mine?
Fluffy?
Yeah.
Did you make any changes?
Did I what?
Did you make any changes?
I don't think so, but you were going kind of quick.
Let's see. Where are you? Let me see your camera. Who's talking?
Lana.
Let's see. Okay, you used an immersion blender, so it probably is just, I would keep going until you get like a fluffier consistency. Immersion blenders don't have nearly the power of a traditional blender, particularly a Vitamix like what I'm using. So I think just keep going. You just want to whip a ton of air into there. So you're probably just, keep going for like a minute. And the person who is making these with no blender, you're just going to want to whisk everything together really, really well until you get this like puddingy consistency. Yeah, it's already kind of like that. That's what you're looking for. All right, so throw these in your fridge. I've got a little bit left. I'll try to get out. Throw these guys in your fridge. That almond is so delicious. I highly recommend it for next time you make these. Just a 1/4 or a 1/2 teaspoon of almond in there. Changes it up. And there we go. You have to really scrape it because it's quite thick at the bottom, but this can make anywhere from like 4 to 6 to 8. When I had a catering company in San Diego, I used to make these as like little shot glass desserts. So I'd make them in shot glasses and serve them with a tiny little spoon, and have them on like a big dessert box. That was kind of cool. All right, just throw them in your fridge. And then when you're ready to eat dessert tonight, you're gonna serve them with a little bit of whipped cream, or creme fraiche is what I love with these. And then you can put some fresh fruit over top. You can chop up some of your leftover chocolate chips and sprinkle them over top like a crunchy chocolate thing. That's really nice. There are many ways to serve this, but you're gonna love it. It sort of hardens into this like delicious chocolate ganache situation that I cannot get enough of. I made, when I was catering, I used to make these like for every single event because they're just so easy, so delicious.
Caroline.
Yes.
If you don't have a blender top, what do you do?
I would put the closest skillet that you can get, put a skillet on top of it, and if the spout still has a hole out, just hold that spout with your hand.
Okay.
Are you guys in a rental? Where are you?
Oh no, I was asking for a friend. That's on.
For a buddy. Yes, that's what I would do. All right, so I'm gonna check on you guys and see if everyone else is ready to move on to dessert. Catherine, how'd you and your son do? You're muted.
Okay, sorry. We did good. It's all in the refrigerator, and hopefully it's gonna settle.
Great, go girl.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome Natalie. If you missed dessert, you can go back and watch the recording later, or you can just follow the recipe that Mary Frances sent out to all of you guys. Kristen is doing exactly what I just did off camera, which is enjoying a couple of scoops of soda cream out of the blender. That is exactly what you're supposed to do. All right, let's keep cooking. Is everybody ready to move on to dinner?
Yeah, are we putting this in the refrigerator? I missed that.
Yes, straight to the fridge. It needs like at least an hour to set up, and then you eat
those.
cold. It's like a chocolate.
Vegetable.
Okay. All right, I'm so followed. So let's make our dinner. We are making these Thai lettuce wraps with whatever meat you wanted. Go ahead and grab your meat out of the fridge. So if it's still in there, it's not being cooked straight from the refrigerator. Here's my meat. I'm sure that you know this, but the meat appreciates the temperature so that it's not being cooked from its really cold state. It's much more tender that way. So always take your meat out a few minutes before cooking when you have the time. I'm going to move around just because it's getting a tiny bit noisy. So unmute if anything comes up and you want to ask any questions. All right, so we're on to our scallions. I'm using scallions, green onions, whatever you want to call them, same thing. And I'm crazy about scallions. They add just such a like punchy, nice onion flavor. But you can use shallots. You can use a yellow onion. You can use a red onion. You can really use kind of whatever type of onion you like. But there's something, these are used a lot in Asian cooking. And they also make a really beautiful garnish. I really enjoy them raw. So we're gonna save a couple tablespoons to go onto our garnish platter that we're gonna create. So just trim the root ends off. That's what I just did while I was talking about my love of onions. Trim the root ends off and then just trim off any leaves that look not pretty. So if anything looks kind of like wilted or you know, dirty, whatever it is, you shouldn't have to clean these. But I would just give them a quick rinse under the sink. That's all they need. but that's all we need to do. And then we're just going to chop these really thinly all the way down. Okay, so start at the bottom and just use your hand to hold the entire bunch of scallions together, and then thinly slice. Okay, and just keep moving your fingers out of the way.
Okay, I'm not a super great cook, but what, can I see your knife?
Can you see my knife?
Yeah, like which knife, or is it like this?
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I'm using. It looks like you're using a Santuco.
I just want to.
A chef's knife, a Santuco knife, any sort of just large knife is what you want to use for a rough chop of a vegetable like this. Using a paring knife, which is the really small one, would be a disaster. It would take you an hour to chop these scallions. So you just want something that fits really comfortably in your hand, and you can rock back and forth really easily. So that's what we're doing. So as you continue moving up the scallions, just keep these fingers moving and keep bunching these scallions together and keep them like a claw. So kind of like this, out of the way of your sharp chef's knife. And we are going all the way up with these. Wow, scallions don't usually make me cry, but these are super fresh and hard. I wonder if y'all's are. That's interesting. Okay, and when you get to the really, really dark green part at the top, that's when I want you to stop. But I like to use these all the way up, okay? So this part just looks kind of like, you know, it's kind of dried out because it's where the farmer cut off the tops of them. So I just don't want to use that. And by the way, I always cook with a little bowl in front of me. It saves me trips over to the trash can. This is like a restaurant hack trick. If you work in a restaurant, you have to keep your station very tidy, and you have to have a little trash bowl in front of you. And whenever this gets full, you would go throw it out. So that's a great sort of like help you cook more efficiently trick. Okay, so we're using a 12-inch non-stick skillet. You can use a cast iron. You can use a 10-inch if that's all you have. Your skillet's gonna be really full, so it's gonna take longer to cook because we're gonna have more surface area to cook on than you are. But it's fine. It'll just take you a couple more minutes. Just raise your hand, shout out that you need a little more time.
Caroline, I have a quick question.
Yeah, I was about to say,
If we're doing rice, do we start it now?
that's what I was about to say.
Oh,
So if anybody is cooking rice, let's start that now, because the rice takes, you know, rice takes like 15 minutes to cook, 15, 20 minutes to cook by the time it comes up to a boil. So this dinner, we want them to finish at the same time. So I almost always start cooking my rice like first thing when I'm making a recipe. Because even if your rice finishes cooking first, whatever, it can sit in the pot with the lid on for a very long time and still be totally delicious. So it's better to do that than have your meat get cold and sit here waiting on it. So we're gonna make one of my favorite super simple rice recipes. Grab your rice out if you haven't yet. You can use any rice, sushi rice. I'm using long grain, jasmine, basmati, whatever you have for this. Brown rice will not work with these proportions, so if you're using brown rice, just follow the proportions on the back of your bag. But these are sort of my custom white rice proportions that I love. It's so funny, all of you with your backgrounds, I can't. Katrina, is that Katrina's that it says? I'm like, how's she doing over there? She's in like an aurora. All right, so 1 1/3 cup of rice. And keep these out, or sorry, 1 1/2 cups of white rice. You can just fill this up, your cup up halfway to that second one. It doesn't need to be completely perfect, so you don't need to dirty up another thing. So 1 1/2 cups. Then I'm gonna use my liquid measurer to grab 1 3/4 cup of water. All right, so if anybody missed that, we have 1 1/2 cups of rice, 1 3/4 cup of water. We're going to bring that to a boil over high. So even though we cook the rice over low, we always bring it to a boil over high, because otherwise we would be sitting here all day waiting for it to cook over low. So you just bring it to high, get it really, really hot, and then cut it down to low. Okay, so we can leave that for a sec. We'll be tending it, and I'll make my frame both of these pots so that we can see everything. But that's over high. I want to see how y'all are doing. Lana, you okay? Thumbs up. Everybody's on mute because I muted you guys because it was too loud, but now I want to hear you.
I added, I made my rice earlier.
Great.
I didn't have sesame seed. They put hemp seeds in.
Oh, yum. How is it?
It tastes the same because the sesame oil gives it the flavor.
Yeah, totally. Sesame seeds just kind of give it the look and like they give it a little pop of texture, but that's a very cool idea, and hemp seeds are just fabulous for you, so I love it. Okay, let's bring this skillet. So again, this is our 12-inch or 10-inch skillet. It's ideally non-stick, but if you only have a stainless steel, that'll do the trick. And we're gonna let this preheat for a couple minutes, just because I hate adding things to a cold skillet. It's always a better practice to add your meat, your onions, everything to your skillet once it has warmed up. That's what I like to do. I like to leave it for a couple minutes and then warm my oil. So otherwise your oil can get burnt. If I were to put my oil in at the very beginning of heating it, it could be burnt by the time I was ready to add everything. So I like to get my skillet hot first and then add my oil to a hot skillet, and that just much better and more flavorful. So it's been about a minute. We have it over medium high. I don't know if I said that out loud, but this is over medium high heat. And all we've cut so far, unless you guys did some advanced prep, in which case, good job, students. Unless you did advanced prep, all we have cut so far are our scallions. And while these scallions are cooking on their own for a couple minutes, we're gonna power cut our garlic and our ginger. I'll take it while we do that. All right, so tablespoon of sesame oil. If you don't have sesame oil, you're fine. You can use grapeseed oil, avocado oil, olive oil, whatever you have, but like, who was just talking about her rice? Jill, was it Jill saying that? Yeah, like Jill was saying, the sesame oil is one of the most flavorful oils out there. It's incredibly, incredibly flavorful. I only like to use a tablespoon max 2 in ingredients because it's just really overpowering. So it adds a ton of flavor. So it's a great ingredient to have in your pantry. Okay, so let's give these a stir. And then these are gonna cook. We wanna cook them down 2 minutes. So just give them a really good stir to get them all coated in sesame oil. And then over to our cutting boards, because we have some cutting to do. And the reason that I cut this while my onions are cooking is that I always look ahead in recipes to see where I can save time. Grab a spoon. This is how we're going to shave our ginger, or peel our ginger. So whenever I'm looking at a new recipe, I always look ahead at it and think, okay, how much do I actually have to prep in advance? Yes, great. If your rice is boiling, mine's not there yet. If your rice is boiling, go ahead, or when your rice starts to boil, go ahead and bring it down to low heat, cover it, and leave it for 15 minutes. So since you're a little ahead of me, set your own timer for 15 minutes. And then cut the heat. So don't forget to set a timer because you will scorch it if you cook it for too long. Okay, so a spoon is the best way to peel garlic. So you just take it and gently shave, because people are always surprised by this trick. Using a vegetable peeler for ginger, did I say garlic? Using a vegetable peeler for ginger is a disaster. It takes off way too much. All you need is a spoon to peel off that skin. So you just take it and lightly scrape it, and the skin right off. And I always measure ginger for recipes in terms of inches, not in terms of tablespoons, because I just want you to be able to comfortably like take a measurement. I always use this part of my thumb as my inch measurement when I'm cooking. I don't want you to have to like measure out 2 tablespoons of grated ginger. It would take all day. This is a perfect way to measure it. So we're just gonna grate our ginger and our garlic. This is a microplane. If you don't have a microplane, you can use the hole my rice is going. So I'm gonna cut it down to low and cover it and leave it. Computer, set a timer for 15 minutes. Okay, so if you're with me, if your rice is just starting to boil, you'll be on my schedule. But again, if your rice started before or after me to boil, set your own timer. Okay, all right, so this is a microplane. If you don't have one, use the smallest hole on your box grater. If you have a buddy in the kitchen, have them give your scallions a stir.
Can you go back to the scallions as far as you were talking about oil, what oil to use? My internet is very bad.
Sorry, what was the question? Just what oil to use?
Yeah, what oil, what temperature for the scallions? I'm not getting that.
You're not getting that. I think you just asked what oil I'm cooking the scallions in, and I'm cooking it in sesame oil, which I was just saying adds a ton of flavor, like great sesame, really strong. It's the strongest oil out there, flavor, but if you don't have it, it's totally fine. It will not mess up the recipe one bit. Neutral cooking oil you always cook with. Olive oil, grapeseed oil, avocado, coconut would be delicious. Okay, and then we're going to use the same grater to grate our garlic. I love grating garlic. You don't end up with a big fleck of like raw garlic in your food. It's just a wonderful, wonderful way to prepare it. If a recipe calls for minced garlic, you can always grate it instead. I have a cut on this finger, so I'm trying to hold it out of the way. This is the only time that grating garlic is hard, is if you have a cut on it you're supposed to be holding the garlic with. Okay.
One of the things I do a lot is use this squeeze ginger.
Yeah. I don't use it because I just prefer fresh so much, but I totally understand the drive for that and why it would be such an awesome ingredient. But what do you use ginger in a lot, Marnie?
Oh, I don't know. We use it a lot of times on the top of our salmon to garnish a salmon. I use it a lot in, can't think right now, drinks. I don't know. I use a lot of ginger. It's good for digestion.
Yum.
And if I don't have time to grate it, which I love fresh, but
no,
sometimes I have to cheat. And then
the cheats are great. All right, so let's throw our garlic and our ginger in here. This is quickly going to make your house smell like absolute heaven. Garlic and ginger smell so good. And we're just gonna give these a quick stir. So make sure if any of the garlic and ginger are clumping up, just use your spatula, or I'm a wooden spoon person, use your spoon to break them up so that we don't get like a big clump, because we want it all to toast. By toasting ingredients, that's how we bring out their flavor. That's why these initial, like, cook the onion and garlic without the meat. That's why these steps are so important. Toasting them on their own brings out so much more flavor than if you were to just throw it all in with the meat at the same time. By the way, if you love spice, if you could add like some minced up serrano or jalapeno into here, this is the time that you would add it with the garlic and ginger. But if you don't have that and you have red pepper flakes in your spice cabinet, I'm pointing to my spice drawer, in your spice drawer, add like a 4th teaspoon of pepper flakes now, get them kind of toasted. That rule applies with spices too. You bring out so much more flavor if you toast them.
Hey, Mary Frances, you're cheating. You have a sous chef. chef.
Yes, I am cheating. This is Emmy who introduced me to Caroline. Yeah.
I love it.
I need help.
I need a sous sous chef.
Where's Kent?
Oh, yeah. Well, he's actually showing properly.
Yeah. People with sous chefs always get so ahead, and they're like, by the time I'm checking on people on the last step, they're like sitting down at their dinner table eating. I'm like, what happened here?
We'll go slower.
So let's throw our meat in. So a pound of meat. My favorite type of meat in this dish is ground pork. Ground pork is a really lean meat, but it still has much more fat than like a turkey or a chicken. I'm using turkey because my market was out of pork. We're still having some like shortages every now and then from, you know, all of this. So I'm using chicken, which is also fabulous. It soaks up so much of the flavor. You can't go wrong. So if you're looking for like a really lean, healthy night, chicken or turkey is the way to go. But pork crisps up much more nicely because it has that fat that helps it crisp up. And then we're gonna season this with a little salt. We're also adding a lot of soy sauce, but I still want you to add a half teaspoon of salt to this because it's a different kind of sodium, right? The salt versus the soy sauce adds a much different flavor. And I also want the meat to get salt all throughout it, not just after it cooks. We're not gonna add the soy sauce for another few minutes. So start chopping, just break up this meat. We don't want any big clumps. And then we're gonna work on our sauce. I started saying this earlier, but when I'm looking at new recipes, I always look ahead to, okay, I can make the sauce while the chicken's cooking because otherwise you have like 30 minutes of prep from the get-go and your meal takes so much longer to cook. But if you just give your recipe a once-over and look at like, okay, what can I prep while I'm already cooking, you'll be able to cook so much more quickly and efficiently. Okay, let's make we're gonna make our, the sauce that goes into the stir-fry sauce, and then we also get to make a peanut sauce, which is like the very similar ingredients, but with peanut butter or with whatever nut butter, seed butter you want. So grab a bowl, and we're gonna use this same bowl to make our peanut sauce in a sec. So use kind of a bowl because this is gonna go to the table for dinner.
Is everybody's meat cooked?
No. The meat's not cooked yet.
Oh.
It's
Okay,
cooked.
I was like, am I behind or what? Okay.
No. We're multitasking. That's what I was saying. We like, while the meat's cooking, we're making the stir fry sauce.
Okay.
All right. So into this bowl, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. You can use tamari, you can use coconut aminos. Tamari is a gluten-free soy sauce. And coconut aminos is a fermented coconut situation that tastes a lot like coconut sauce and a lot of health nuts love. I really like it.
Caroline, do you use aluminum foil or do you use a pottery? Does it matter to you?
What are you covering?
What's that?
To cover what?
No, just to put your stuff in. Because I've heard sometimes that the aluminum picks up, you know.
Yeah, I don't use aluminum at all. So it's one of those things that if you Google it, there are so many opinions. 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar into here. So 2 soy sauce, 3 rice wine. Yeah, Marnie, I don't use aluminum at all. When I was pregnant with my first, I said too many like horror stories of aluminum leaching in, and I totally avoid it now. So you can find arguments on either side of the arena about that, but I don't use it. Like if I don't need to, I don't have to. Okay, tablespoon of sriracha. If you love spice, add 2 tablespoons. If you hate spice, don't add this, or add a tiny bit just for some chili flavor. But
the sambal,
sambal is an amazing ingredient.
Is that the same thing or is it different?
Sambal olek is on the ethnic aisle of your grocery store, and it is a ground fresh chili paste. So it's basically just a little bit of, it's chunkier. So sriracha is totally smooth. This has like fresh chili in it. It's just fabulous. It's a little bit more vinegary. Give your stir. Make sure you're chopping it up so that we don't have any big pieces. Okay. Your meat should be starting to get there and probably letting off a lot of liquid. If you use chicken or turkey, you're gonna see a lot of liquid in the skillet. If you use pork, you're gonna see more fat in the skillet. Doesn't matter either way, we just need to cook it off. So right now, I'm gonna show you my skillet. I just have like these liquids. See that pooling up at the bottom there? I have about 2 tablespoons of liquid at the bottom, and that's the natural juice that comes out of the meat. And I just want to completely cook it off before we add the rest of our sauce, or our stir fry sauce, so that the meat can totally absorb this sauce. So it's going to let out its own liquid and take in this stir fry sauce. So just keep chopping, chopping, chopping. I don't want any big pieces. I want this like minced meat. So just keep chopping with that spoon until you get there. And then we're not quite finished with this. We have some honey to add. And this just adds a tiny bit of sweetness. If you're like off of sugar, don't like to add sugar to your food, don't add it, that's fine.
Carolyn, I need to go back.
Okay.
So I'm reading the recipe, I'm getting this in there, and when did you add the peanut butter? Did you add it at the beginning? I didn't see that.
That's for our sauce for the wraps. We haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay. So is this sauce going to go on top of the meat?
This sauce is going to go into the meat once all of this liquid gets cooked off.
Okay. All right. So we haven't done the peanut butter yet.
We haven't done the peanut butter sauce yet. That's for serving, so it comes last.
Right now, all we have is the soy sauce, the sriracha, and the honey.
Okay. So in this bowl for our stir fry sauce, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 tablespoon of sriracha, 1 tablespoon of fish sauce. So fish sauce is just this like fermented fish juice, funky thing. If you love curries, you love fish sauce. It smells weird, it sounds weird, but I promise you it adds so much important flavor to Asian dishes. If you didn't get any, that's fine. You can omit it. You can add another tablespoon of soy sauce to add more of that salty flavor. I highly recommend giving it a shot at some point. All right, does anybody need those directions again, or are you good? So 3 tablespoons soy sauce, 3 tablespoons rice wine, 1 of honey, 1 of sriracha, 1 of fish sauce. Good? Okay, so whisk it all together. Return our attention to our skillet. And check it out, I have even more liquid in here now. So my turkey or my chicken is continuing to let off liquid. See it pooling up at the bottom there? I'm chopping up this meat. And keep.
Is it bad if I don't have a lot of liquid?
Yours doesn't have a lot?
No.
Great. You can add in your stir fry sauce then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we started a little lower than I meant to, so I think maybe that's
You did what lower?
we started on a lower heat than we meant to, so I think maybe that's, I don't know.
Oh, interesting. I would think a higher heat. You know what? All meat is different, and I use like organic ground chicken from California, and yours might have a little bit less liquid in it. That's
Okay.
All right, so I'm now at a great point. I have no liquid dripping down when I tilt my skillet like this. So I know that my meat is ready to absorb this delicious sauce. Give it one more stir before you add it, just to make sure the honey is totally incorporated. And stir it in. And again, we're gonna use this bowl to make our peanut sauce right now, so just put it back on your board. We're still over medium-high heat. Give this a really good stir to get it all coated. Make sure if you have any big chunks, you're chopping them up.
Our rice just finished. Should we just leave it to the side?
Leave it to the side because you always want to steam rice for 10 minutes after it finishes cooking.
With it closed?
With it closed. Don't look at it. Don't even look at it. Put it off to the side. That is how you make perfect rice. If you don't even open the lid, don't even check on it, just move it to the back of the stove and let it sit until dinner time. 10 minutes ideally, like 10 minutes if you're in a hurry. But if you're not in a hurry, just let it chill out until dinner time. And then add all of the ingredients that are in the recipe. We'll do it together. Okay, so give that a big stir. And then back to our peanut sauce. So now, Marnie, we're making our peanut sauce now. I'm using Skippy peanut butter. Can't go wrong. Can't get anything better. But if you have almond butter, if you have cashew butter, any of those are fabulous with this. I love making an almond butter sauce. So do your thing. Okay, so a 1/3 cup of smooth whatever butter you're using. Okay, that's my timer for my rice, so I'm turning off the heat.
Stir it a bit more.
Just turn off the heat and leave your rice sitting there. You don't need to look at it. You don't need to do anything. Just turn it off. Okay, so computer turn off. 1/3 cup of peanut butter right into your bowl. You want to use, I told you to use a pretty bowl, so hopefully you didn't choose one that was super small. But whenever you're making a sauce with like peanut butter or nut butter, you just want to make sure, look it off your finger, you want to make sure you have enough space to really get in there and stir. If you try to use a small bowl, you just end up very frustrated because you don't have enough room to really whisk it. Okay, so a 1/4 cup of soy sauce into here. I'm gonna use my same 1/3 cup and just go a little bit lower if you don't want to dirty up another measuring tool. Give your meat a stir in between additions. And you can go ahead now and cut your meat down to low, and it'll just continue absorbing this sauce over low heat while we wrap up over here. 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. And this just adds really nice acidity. If you love lime juice, you could also use lime juice instead. So 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. You can also use rice wine vinegar. In my opinion, it's negligible difference. And then some honey. Honey with peanut butter sauce. That's what you want. It's so good. Sweetened up a little. But again, if you're off sugar, or if you're like doing like Whole30 or something and you just don't want to use sugar in your cooking, that is totally fine. You can still make this recipe and it'll be wonderful. And then we want some sriracha in here too. So a little bit of spice. Do whatever suits you. 1 to 2 tablespoons of sriracha or sambal. I'm gonna do about 1/2 tablespoon in hopes that my 16-month-old child will eat this. And then stir. So you're gonna think like, Caroline, how is this gonna stir? It's peanut butter and soy sauce. You just have to get in there and kind of smush it together until it starts to combine. So see what I'm doing? I'm taking my fork and smashing the peanut butter against the side of the bowl. Over and over and over. And it's starting to break down the peanut butter, and the soy sauce is starting to like.
Caroline, I can't see it. Can you hold the bowl up? What are you doing?
I'm just like smashing the peanut butter into the sauce.
I'm having I have a hard time with honey, getting honey. Like it took me forever to get the honey mixed with the soy sauce. So I have a hard time with the honey getting into anything. So what's the
honey? The honey, I would just stir really vigorously. Unless you're using like a raw honey, that might have been hard, but mine absorbed pretty easily just by like whisking it really hard. But
Okay.
the peanut butter, so check out where I am now after doing that kind of smash and roll step for a while. It's still totally not combined. So now that I've smashed it against the side a bunch and it's starting to look like this broken sauce, now I'm just there and whip. And it takes a while, okay? So don't get frustrated. It's just that it takes a while. Just keep stirring. And it will combine. See where I already am?
will combine?
Can you cheat with like a hand blender?
Absolutely. You can use, so this is the type of recipe that would be great with a like with a mini immersion blender, but this much sauce won't blend in a blender. So you have to do it by hand if you're writing the recipe. But if you have a mini immersion blender or a mini food processor, or somebody was using an immersion blender, you could totally use that. But I mean, I'm there, right? So this is now like a smooth, delicious sauce. It just takes some elbow grease.
Yeah.
I need a bowl that has enough space. Good. And if at any point you're like, it's just not working, it might be that your peanut butter or your nut butter is too thick, and you can add a splash of water. So I'll show you what that looks like. Add a splash of hot water. So I just added about 2 tablespoons of hot water and just whisk that in, and it'll make it even smoother of a sauce. See? So now I have this gorgeous sauce, and it's like drizzleable for our wraps. Lovely. I'm gonna set that off to the side. How's everybody's sauce going? You look good. You look like you're working hard.
It tastes so good. We tried it.
It's just a delicious.
Yeah.
So, great call by Mary Frances. Everybody should give it a taste, because everybody's soy sauce, everybody's using a different brand of soy sauce, a different brand of peanut butter, perhaps, you know, using almond butter instead of peanut butter. So it's super important to taste as you go. If you want it spicier, add more sriracha. If you want it tangier, which I actually kind of do right now, add another hit of rice vinegar. If you want it saltier, add more soy sauce. If you want it just thicker and more peanutty, add more peanut butter. Good luck, because then you have to stir it in. So I like a really tangy peanut sauce. So that's why I just added about like 2 teaspoons more rice vinegar. So give your meat a stir, but you should have it over low heat so that sauce is getting kind of thick and totally coating your meat. And we're just gonna leave this over really, really low heat, the lowest heat possible, until we're ready to eat. Okay. Peanut sauce off to the side. And now we are going to create our like Thai lettuce wrap boards. This is kind of the coolest part of this dinner to me, is the presentation. It's really beautiful and impressive looking. Oh, you know what? First, we're gonna add some basil at the very end, or cilantro, whatever you chose. You had 2 options. So let's chop up that first. And it's, let's see, how much basil did I say? 1/3 of a cup. So just grab like a really big handful. We're gonna pull it off the leaves. If you're using cilantro, you don't need to pull it off the leaves. Cilantro stems are delicious. Basil stems are really fibrous. So you just wanna use the leaf if you're using basil. So about 1/3, just grab like a really big handful. And then you can either slice it up. So what I like to do if I'm chiffonading is just grab all of the leaves facing one direction in my hand, and then bunch them up really tightly and thinly slice across. Okay? And that is a chiffonade. If you have kids, or if you just like don't like a huge chunk of herb in your food, some people have a thing, give it a rough chop at this point. So slice across, and then just give it a big rough chop, and that'll kind of finely mince it up for you. But leave this off to the side, because I don't want you to stir this in until the very last minute. That's how you'll get the most fresh flavor out of your basil or cilantro. Okay, so I have this big, beautiful wooden board. You can use a big platter. You don't have to do this at all. You can have all of your different components in different little bowls. Whatever works for you is great, but I'm just gonna show you what I like to do. So I am using iceberg lettuce leaves, and that's like what P.F. Chang's uses, and my local market that I've been going to didn't have any like pretty butter leaf or red leaf lettuce, which is what I usually like to look, because it's so beautiful. like to use because it's so beautiful. Iceberg is delicious. It's crunchy, it's watery. Iceberg gets a bad reputation, but it is so wonderful. So just kind of take your lettuce cups and spread them out like this so that everybody sees like, oh, okay, grab one of those. Kind of spread them out on one end of your board. And then let's get to our toppings. So I like to do a lot of different things with my toppings. With these carrots, I'm gonna use a vegetable peeler. I'm gonna peel them. So if you have a carrot, I mean, you don't really have to follow along with this, but if you have a carrot as one of your toppings, I like to just shave it all the way down. So as if you're peeling it, but just keep going and going and going and going. And then flip it over when you can't shave anymore. Rest it and just keep shaving. And you wind up with these like crunchy long curls. This part, save for later. It is a snack. You wind up with these beautiful curls that look so cool on top of your wraps. So I'm gonna do some more.
Carolyn, can you adjust your camera? We can't see what you're doing, or I can't. Can anybody see her? It's like you're low and I can't see what you're doing.
I can see it.
You can? Oh, okay.
iPad, a phone.
What?
Are you on a computer or your cell phone?
No, I'm on a computer.
Put her in the middle and you can see her whole
Oh,
whole
okay.
body. Put her
Okay.
in the middle. Okay.
That's a good idea.
I should be spotlighted for you because I have like control. So I should be, like I can see my whole body and then the food is right here. Can you see better now, Marnie?
No. No, this is Mary Francis's challenge every day with me.
Zoom is really hard.
Okay, so I don't know how to put you, but if everybody else sees her, that's good. I just don't.
So where do I cut off for you?
Like right at your underneath your ribs, like I can't see your arms.
Anything I'm doing.
I can't see your arms
Okay,
at all.
you know what? I'll just zoom in on my cutting board. Can you see my cutting board now?
Oh, you've got two screens. Okay, I got you over here.
Oh, but I should be spotlighted on the camera that I want you to see.
That's right. I see your board now. I have two pictures of you.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off the other camera because that's not the camera you should be seeing at all.
All right.
Okay, that's my like control center.
Got
camera.
it.
Okay.
All right.
So
Good.
Marnie, these are my lettuce cups. These are my shaved carrots. I have some cucumbers. So basically the point is I want you to have several different textures for all of your different vegetables. So the carrots, I did these long ribbons. Marnie, I made these with my vegetable peeler.
Yep, I heard that. I just didn't see
Just like that. Just these long, beautiful, crunchy ribbons.
Wait, I'm going to interrupt really quick, Caroline. Sorry. Marnie,
Yeah.
make sure in the top right hand of your screen, you're on where it says gallery view and speaker view. Make sure it says speaker view.
Aha.
Yeah, speaker view. Does that work? Now you see her cutting. Okay. Sorry, Caroline, continue.
That's great. Okay, so with these cucumbers, I'm going to dice them up so that I have these long, beautiful carrot curls, and then I have a different texture for my cucumber. So I'm dicing the cucumber, and everything's just going right on this board. I don't need, you could be cutting this on your cutting board and then transferring it to a platter, but you don't need a million little bowls to have to clean up after dinner, okay? This is like, okay, so now that Marnie's maybe on the right screen, I'm gonna, can you still see me, Marnie, and see the board? I think she muted.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great, perfect. Okay, so I'm dicing cucumbers. I have my ribbons. Jalapeno would be great. I would mince up some jalapeno, but I love pickled jalapeno. So I'm just gonna grab some with a fork and add those to my board. People won't eat as many of these, so I'll just put out like, you know, a couple of tablespoons. Of course, our peanut sauce with a spoon for serving. So take your fork out, throw a spoon in there. Has to go on the board. So check it out, it's over there. And then anything else you have. So I have some coconut. Yum. Peanuts are so delicious, like roasted salted peanuts were on your toppings list as an option, and I love them. I'm gonna do this just handful of coconut right there. So it's basically just about adding more, the more the better. Like, you can't go wrong. Some raw corn would be delicious in the summertime. I have this lime that I'm gonna cut up into wedges. Where can you see me? I have this lime I'm gonna cut up into wedges. So I've cut it, this is how I cut wedges. This is the end, so I cut through the center, and then I cut 3 wedges out of it. I'll zoom in, because that's how I think you make the perfect, like, beautiful wedge, not the other way. Okay, so I cut it through the axis. So this is the end, I cut it through it, and then I put it down on my board, come in at an angle, and cut 3 wedges out of each side. And that's how you don't get any of the, like, ugly white stuff. That's what I like. Okay, so check on your meat, give it a stir. Everything should be, like, really thick and just looking like absolutely fabulously delicious at this point. So if you are finished with your toppings, on my topping list, there was also pineapple, mango, papaya, anything. Like, I love a fresh fruity pop on these, but I'm going like super veg heavy tonight with mine. By the way, if you're bored, if you're using a board and it's big enough to put your rice pot on, throw your rice pot on there. And then let's cut off our meat. Yours should have this, like, kind of sticky coating from having it over low heat for the past several minutes. If you see any big chunks, break them up. You know I don't like those. And then stir in that 1/3 cup of fresh herbs that we chopped up. Okay, and that will give it just a nice pop of bright green. So it was looking a little like brown because it had been cooked in that soy sauce. And now we've got this nice pop of freshness. Okay, so come back over to our board and move this guy out of the way. So check out my dinner board. Here it is. I have my rice pot on here, which is looking delicious, and I'll help you guys finish right now, actually. So you can either leave your rice plain. That's delicious. We have so many other flavors going on. We have the peanut sauce, everything. But this is just my favorite way to make like an Asian-y side. So if ever I wanted to have like a lot of flavor, this is what I like to do. So, tablespoon of sesame oil into here. Where am I? You know what? Oh, no, right there. I was gonna say, my measuring cups are gone. Who cares, but found them. All right, so into our rice pot, tablespoon of sesame oil, and that adds like a ton of earthiness, so much flavor as we've discussed. Tablespoon of rice vinegar. And this adds that pop of acidity, like sushi rice is always cooked. It always gets finished with a little rice vinegar, so you might kind of think, oh, this tastes a little bit like sushi rice. And then if you have sesame seeds, I want you to A, add them here, and B, add them to your board, because they're really fun. So like a tablespoon or 2 of sesame seeds, right in, and then, oh yeah, leave this open, because I want to put this here, so that people can serve themselves some sesame seeds. Then grab a fork, and you're gonna fluff your rice. So we need, once we start fluffing, we'll add our salt. So just fluff, fluff, fluff. Bring you over here so you can check out how awesome my rice looks.
That looks beautiful. I have to log out.
You have to what?
Log out.
Okay, bye, Jill. Enjoy your dinner.
I'm going to show you my dinner. Hold on.
Show us your dinner, and don't forget to add salt to your rice.
See?
Oh, wait, let us see. Oh, my gosh. You have a pretty board.
How's that? Is that good?
That is gorgeous. You look like a superstar. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Jill, can you do that?
All right, so I just add a teaspoon of salt to my rice. Don't forget that. And just give it a big fluff. So give it a big stir. Let it all incorporate. And then once this isn't too hot, give it a taste, because just like your peanut sauce, I want this to be customized to you. So if you're like, oh my gosh, sesame oil, I love that flavor, add more sesame oil. You'll see what I mean. It's still so hot. You'll see what I mean. Sesame oil has such a strong leading flavor, but it's so delicious. I think it must maybe like a pregnancy thing. I'm like loving acidic flavors right now. So I'm gonna add a tiny bit more rice vinegar, and I'm just gonna like sprinkle it over the top like you just saw me do. I'm gonna close my lid and let it keep steaming for a little while. Meld with all those flavors until we eat. So check it out. This is my board. This is my meat. You know how to build a lettuce wrap, but let's do it together because it's kind of fun. But I want you guys to get to dinner because I know all your food is hot and your family's waiting. But basically, I like to build a lettuce wrap. You can put some rice down here. Throw your meat in, like 2-3 tablespoons of meat, right down the middle. And then just add whatever toppings you want. So some coconut, some pickled jalapenos, some cucumber. I like to really fill them up. And then the ultimate peanut sauce drizzled all over top. And that's it. And then you just wrap it up, eat it. So delicious. I really love not just making rice bowls, but like I said, putting the rice in the lettuce wrap is delicious. So be sure to give that a shot. And that's it, you guys. That is your meal, your pot de creme. Let me check on mine to see how much more time they have. Okay, so check it out. My pot de creme, it's been probably 45 minutes since we made them, and mine are already looking pretty great. So it's gonna set further, but as you can see, it's already set into like a nice pudding. As it continues to sit, it'll get harder, more like a ganache. Okay.
I have one question.
All right, what questions can I answer?
Okay, I was looking at your recipe, you know, I printed it out.
Great.
And I don't see anywhere where it says, sorry. Yes, at the bottom where you say stir in 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, rice vinegar, honey, that's into the meat. Right? Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, sorry. Because I thought that's what we were making, that was what we added to the rice, but no, I found it.
No, okay, so the rice is at the very beginning.
Right.
I didn't add the rice ingredients to our ingredient list because it wasn't a part of the recipe, but I just wanted to tell you guys my favorite recipe. So the rice part, if you ever want to recreate this, it's all listed right here with the ingredients in bold. This is at the bottom of the first page of the recipe. And then on the second page is we talk about the peanut sauce, and then we talk about the sauce that you stir in. So in my recipe, we just stir all of the soy sauce and the stir fry sauce that we stirred into the meat. I just dump it right into the skillet in the recipe, but since we're cooking together and I know it would be a little slower because I would want to talk about the ingredients, we did it in a bowl. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think, Kristen, but I think what she's saying is the sesame oil, the rice vinegar, and that you add to the rice. That's the way it says at the bottom of the sheet, right?
Well, but no, actually the rice one is on the other page. It's right underneath the peanut sauce.
Yeah.
Right underneath the peanut sauce. Then that paragraph says combine 1.5 cups of rice. Then that's the sauce that you put into the rice after it's cooked.
Right.
And then the other one, then it says, then you cook the meat and you add the ginger and the clove. And then you add, meanwhile, make the peanut sauce. Then you add that other sauce at the end, which we did, to the meat.
Right.
Yep. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
Oh, it is so yummy. Thank you.
Have a great dinner. Wait, I want to see, did anybody build a board? I want to see your boards if you built one, or your platters or whatever. Marnie, did you cut up your toppings now that you could see?
No, I've been double tasking. I put the information for the gal that does the bicycles on the chat.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I'm having people come for dinner at 6, so I'm gonna finish this off.
Fabulous.
Mhm.
Okay, Lana has a beautiful looking dinner
Oh, let's see you. Lana, oh, I'm so proud of you.
Oh my gosh, I'm jealous of
I
you.
had my sous chef. I had to call for help.
You should be so proud. That is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so you used avocado, cucumber, carrot. Yum. That looks so great. Have you tried it?
I haven't. I've been frantically trying to get internet, and I just have a very slow internet. So I only heard portion. So I had to call my husband as my sous chef to help me out.
Is there anything I can help you with now that you're back on?
Oh no, he did it all.
Great.
Look at the house.
You know what? Sous chefs are great. Kristen, did you catch up since you were coming from?
Oh, I didn't make a board because I drove in at the start of it, so I wasn't even that quite prepared. So no, I haven't made it, but it's all here, and I'm super excited. And thank you.
Great. I'm so glad. All right. Let's see if did Mary Frances looks like she got dropped off. Oh no, there she is. Look at hers. Oh my gosh, show off.
Wow.
Yours looks so much like Lana's. Gorgeous. Yeah. With those big avocado slices, those are gonna be so good.
I'm excited.
What do patties look like?
Yum.
What is that black stuff there in the middle?
Oh, we did black sesame seeds.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. We didn't have the other ones. So
that's such a nice. Shauna, how did you do? You had a sous chef the whole time. Oh, now you disappeared. I had you and then you left. Hiding from us.
There she is.
Oh my gosh, look at that plate. Do you have edamame on there? She's muted, but I think I see edamame as her side and a big, beautiful rice bowl. I love it. Yum.
Good.
All right, guys, if I can answer any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I want you to all go enjoy. Your meat is still warm. Your vegetables are cold and crunchy, and your pot de creme will be ready in like 30 minutes. So add some whipped cream on top if you want to make it look fancy. Chop up some of that chocolate and sprinkle a bit on top. And then you have like a nice crunchy bite of chocolate with the smooth chocolate. And it's excellent. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you guys have my email from the document. Follow me on Instagram, Caro Chambers, to keep in touch and show me your food. And I share recipes there all the time. And I'm so excited to contribute to this awesome local nonprofit with Team Schlopy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Caroline.
Bye, guys. Enjoy your meals.
Thank you.
Cooking with
Thank
you.
you. It was fun.